Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today I am ranking all of my pastel palettes. So I actually saw Heather Austin just do this video where she went through and ranked all of her pastel palettes, and it inspired me to go through mine because I'm not gonna lie, I've been really eyeing the Natasha Denona pastel palette, but all the reviews I've seen have said basically like, save your money, it's not worth it. So I was watching Heather's video and thought what a great way to look at the pastel palettes that I already have, see what I like, what I don't like, and recommend to you guys maybe some alternatives if you too are trying to save some money and not spend $65 on a Natasha Denona palette. Before we get too far into the video, don't forget to click that subscribe button. I upload twice a week. It's totally free to subscribe and I would love to have you back on the channel. And don't forget, I'll leave it linked in the cards to enter my giveaway that I currently have going on as well. I'm gonna link the video where you can enter the giveaway, but that is ending on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, the 24th, so don't miss out on that. Okay, so let's get into the palette ranking. Okay, so Heather did 10, and when I looked through my collection, I only could find 6 palettes that I really thought qualified as pastel. So I'm gonna start with 6, the bottom, like ranked one. And honestly, I like all of these palettes, so I'm not ranking any of them low because I don't like them, but I will tell you why I ranked it there. So here is number 6. This is the Sailor Moon palette, and I honestly didn't even think of this as pastel until I saw Heather's video. She included this, and I get what she's saying because even though these colors on the bottom look more like bright summery, they aren't that pigmented on the eye. They are more of like a pastel wash of color. And yeah, it's like, this is fine, but actually that's part of why I ranked this palette lower, is because I was expecting it to come off on the eye like this, and it doesn't. It is more pastel. So that kind of made me reframe this palette too, that I was like, oh, well, maybe I would like this palette more if I did try to use it as a pastel palette instead of what I was trying to use it for, like brights. It does have a lot of neutrals too, but I've played mostly with this palette with like the purpley side of stuff, but there definitely is like peachy and yellow pastel stuff. So I do like this palette. I love Sailor Moon. I love the theming, but there's other pastel palettes that are more pastel than this, but you can get pastel-ish vibes for a good color prop price on this one. Next up is the only palette I own from Huda Beauty. This is the Mercury Retrograde palette. I love the packaging on this. I know it's plastic, but it just feels so heavy and nice. And I've definitely done like specifically minty pastel looks with this. So again, like the Sailor Moon, there is a lot of like neutral stuff, but you can go really pastel mint with this. And then there's also like a pink and a peach in here that you can make like really light spring pastel looking looks. Especially, it looks even more like pastel and light and shimmery if you add like this pink or this like purpley pink. They're very iridescent and help to give them that like light spring pastel-y look. I don't know, maybe you guys don't think of this one as a pastel palette, but to me it gives that kind of vibes. And I'm not saying the whole palette, like obviously Vortex down here is not a pastel, but for me personally too, I do really like a pastel look that isn't completely pastel. Like I like something that's pastel with a little depth in the corners, so that's why I like a palette like this. But alas, it is not, you know, fully a pastel. It does have other stuff going on. So moving on. Next up is from Kaleidos, and this is their Lunar Lavender palette. So this formula, I do really like Kaleidos, and the packaging is so cool on this one. The only reason I didn't rank this one any higher is because you can only go pretty much one way with it, right? You can do like a pastel-y purple look. That's about it. And again, I like ones like this where you have a little bit of brown that you can do like pastel, but with a little bit of depth to it personally. So this is perfect for me. But you know, you can only do purple with this, which is fine because these shimmers are out of this world on another level. But that's why I didn't rank it any higher, because you can only go lavender pastel with this one. So it's not as versatile as some of the others I have. All right, down to the final 3 already. I only have 6. I know it's not like a lot, but I know some of you like the shorter form videos, so I like to throw some in that like aren't too long, that are just a quick little sit down. All right, so number 3 in my collection is from Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is the Candy Skies palette. Now this was limited edition. She did collab with Aaron Weaver. Probably see when I lift it up here that mine is use. Specifically the shade Cloudy, I really have gone into a lot. I like that one a lot. This has more of a range, and oh my gosh, the scent, yes, it still smells. It kind of smells like Sweet Tarts or like Smarties. I love a scented eyeshadow palette. I've mentioned this before if you've been on my channel, but I love a scented eyeshadow palette. So this one, it's like a rainbow palette, but pastel, right? You've got more of your like reddy pinky, right? You've got orange. The only thing that's missing from this is yellow. There is no yellow, but there's green, blue, purple, peach, all of the above. And I love that there is a matte white on this one too, that you can either like brighten on the outer corner, or you can help blend out the corners, or you can like put the white down as a base so the pastels pop a little bit more. But this has such a smooth formula that I really like it. The only thing with this one is I wish the shimmers popped just a little bit more, and that's the only reason this one isn't ranked higher. It's just that like the matte formula is immaculate, but I wish the shimmers were a little more sparkly. All right, number 2. Oh, it's huge. I have the whole thing still. From Glamlight, it is the Ice Cream palette. Oh, who has this? Who remembers it? It's been out a while. I cannot force myself to part ways with this. I know it's so huge and it's a pain to store, but it's so stinking cute. The actual palette on the inside, of course, is much smaller and has the adorable sprinkles. If you don't have this palette, check for it on sale. They still sell it. It's not discontinued, but it has these little sprinkles that shake around in the front of it. So cute. And baby, if you wanted pastels, here you go. She's a big palette, okay? She really is. And I need all these pastel shades to remind me of spring, you guys, because like, look, I'm wearing my North Face today. It gets so cold in Ohio. It snowed today. It's mid-April and it snowed today. So I need these pastel palettes too to remind me like, yes, it is spring, summer's coming. Like, let's get into the vibe, even though it's snowing where I live today. So yeah, this one is ranked higher because it also has like the mattes that I love that the Laura Lee Los Angeles does, but with the better shimmers that the Laura Los Angeles one doesn't have, in my opinion. Like, their shimmers are like, they're fine, but they're not as sparkly. The Glamlight ones, oh, so sparkly. I mean, like, I'm gonna show you Lemon right here. So sparkly. Look how sparkly it is. I don't know how much it's coming off on my camera and lights, but it's so much more reflective and sparkly than the Laura Lee Los Angeles ones. And again, it's not like super dark up here, but you do have a little bit of like mid-tones to deepen up some of these colors with. So I really like this one. I think this is one of the supreme pastel palettes of all of them that I do and don't own that I've seen, that has a lot of options. All right, and number 1, as soon as I saw Heather's video, I knew this would be my number 1. She actually had this palette in her video and it was not her number 1. And I was surprised because I love this palette so much. This palette is from Nomad Cosmetics and it is their Tokyo Harajuku palette. Look at this. Oh, it's so cute. Now this is actually the first palette I ever purchased from Nomad Cosmetics. Like, this is the one that convinced me to like try the brand, because the color story, the pastels, my embossings are getting messed up because I've used it so much, but they're all little cats. They're so cute. And let me tell you, the bottom row, best shimmers of all of these palettes that I've mentioned, hands down. Like, they are duochromes, which I love a good duochrome. So I put it next to the Glamlight one here. So the Glamlight one I put up here and kind of like wiped it away. Down here is the Nomad one, and I'm sure it won't pick up on film because, you know, like, your girl's got a cheap camera, okay? It is what it is. We're a small channel right now, people. Help us grow so we can get better equipment. But the yellow one in this palette, like, it has a pink reflect in it, and all of these have different colored reflect, and like I said, are duochromes on the bottom. They're so shimmery and I love them so much. This was one of the first indie brand palettes I ever bought too, that when I bought this I was like, oh, that's what indie brands can produce. Like, I was out here, you know, a Tarte girl, and I found this and was like, new level unlocked, right? Also, most of these are satins, but they make beautiful blushes. Like this blush that I'm wearing today, this orange moment, it's the shade Kawaii from this palette right here. That orange, that's what I'm wearing as blush. And the fact that they are satin and not matte, I think makes them look so blurring and beautiful on the skin. So yeah, you could do orange, blush, purple. I know some people like to do a yellow. There's a couple pinks in here. I've used some of these duochrome toppers as highlighters. It's just very versatile, really. And I love the fact that there are actual like deeper, darker shades over here. I wore this palette yesterday and I love the look so much. I like the fact that it's a gray and they've got like a light gray and a deep gray and not a black. I think that was a really smart move on their part to go with the pastels. So yeah, this one is my #1 pastel palette, and I would take this over the Natasha Denona one any day. So I guess in that respect, video success. Like that was the point of me making this video, was to try to feel satisfied and not feel FOMO about the Natasha Denona one. So let me know in the comments down below, do you wear pastel eyeshadow palettes? If you do, what is your favorite one? Am I missing one? The only one other than the Natasha Denona one that I've seen that I'm kind of curious about is the Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams palette. That one looks really nice. So if anybody has that one, let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna hold off for now because clearly I have enough pastel palettes as it is, but that one I do have my eye on. Thanks so much for watching if you made it all the way to the end, and I hope to see you again on the next one. Bye!